Look for all the receipts.
Yeah,
That's what it
exactly.
is. Look for all of them. Make sure you get every single one that counts. Look for it. Do your research. Don't just take everything with face value. That's been my mission so far. So,
Likewise.
but all right, enough of that. We're back. Media Marauders, episode 305. I'm gonna keep doing it because Dodger doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Mr.
Oh yeah,
Random.
welcome back, Nigel. You didn't make it to the last episode. Welcome back. We almost forgot about you.
Slacker.
We're back, audience, everyone. Hello, how's it going? This is Max. We have King.
Everybody doing?
Got Mr. Thomas showing us
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
graphics, beautiful graphics.
You
We got
right?
Nigel.
What's up?
We got
Bye, Thomas.
Mr. James.
What's going on?
All right, fellas, we're back. This is a quick little moment for us to have a release and just. This episode is really just going to be us speaking on Media Monthly from May, but I also would like to discuss some of the current events that's happening around. But one of the first things we want to get into that we decided was getting into album release. And from Freddie Gibbs, we all decided that we can have this moment to listen to some music, and god damn it, was this album fucking fantastic. But
I agree.
all right, before I start, you all have listened to it other than Nigel. We have already established that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Anybody want to
Multiple
start off?
times.
You said what?
I said multiple times.
Oh yes, sir. I've been listening for the past 3 days. But anybody want to start off, or y'all want me going?
Well, are you gonna drop the name of the album and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. The
Let's just
album. Okay, yeah, I'll start off. So, album we're gonna do a quick review on. We decided that these media monthlies, we kind of like the idea, so we figured to start it off, we'll just do the album that we all decided, like I said before. And Freddie Gibbs, I think I think it's his third or fourth studio album. You could consider this an album called Alfredo. I don't know if you guys know this or if you bothered doing the research on it or thinking that much on the album title, but y'all understand the album title, right?
No, explain it.
I was trying to figure it out.
It's not difficult at all. It's just because the album was produced just fully produced by The Alchemist, which is a well-known producer from a station over in New York. I forget which borough in New York, but he's been around in the game for a long time. You might have heard music from Mobb Deep that he's been a part of.
Definitely about that.
Fred the Godson, he's another New York. A lot of New York heavy rappers go under Alchemist Beast production and all because he has an amazing ear for these things, for these songs or productions that he has. But mainly the album is Alfredo because of Al Alchemist, and then Freddie Alfredo. But one of y'all go ahead and start up right now. I need to fall back real quick. So give me
All right.
Second.
Well, I guess I'll say a little something on that album myself. I listened to it a couple of times, to be honest. So I had while doing some yard work and doing some chores around the house. But the album altogether to me gave me a really laid back, like 80s feel almost. And I probably won't say the right timeline how it felt when I listened to it, but from the beginning I just feel like it gives you like a 80s vibe once again, like I said, even from the beginning, from the very first track, 1985. I don't know what it is about it, but it gave me that feel like I was really on a, can I say, not just the track, but the album altogether. If I had to explain it, it made me feel like I was laying in Drake's Olympic-sized pool, chilling, trying to figure out how to move these 40 keys of dope from my house to Alaska. That's all I can say, because it's floating in the pool, man. And just having that feeling about it made me feel that way about it. But my favorite track on there, surprisingly, is actually going to be with Tyler, the Creator, Something to Rap About. I don't listen to Tyler, the Creator enough, to be honest with you, but he really surprised me in his delivery in this one. My favorite verse off him is actually the very first part he says is, "This sounds like the boat I ain't bought yet. It sounds like the moment I jump off it. sunshine, cold water filling in my pocket. That I think that verse by itself just describes the whole CD because it gives you that little vibe, like I said, once again, like you're really on a boat and it's just something to vibe to. Like, I'm not going to say I didn't skip a couple of tracks here and there, but that track right there by itself just laid it out for me in my personal opinion. And like I said, I don't listen enough to Tyler, the Creator, but his delivery in that one was really surprising to me and really good. Freddie Gibb, I think himself, I've said it to y'all a couple of times, I felt like he's all of a sudden become the rap Picasso somehow, some way. His verses, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think his verses are very, and I hate to put it this way, you can tell his verses are about dope / music / trap. Not necessarily trap, but I would say a lot of it is slanging drugs.
Well, that's it's umbrella, yeah.
Right, yeah, it's a little umbrella of that. But like I said, once again, that whole theme of the CD / album of having that, even the track on Frank Lucas, it gives you that track with Benny the Butcher.
Ooh, Benny the
that
Butcher.
Was pretty good too.
Butcher's coming. All right, my bad.
And Benny the Butcher surprised me too, because I don't listen to him enough, and I know Max, you talked to us about him a lot.
Can't talk 3, baby. But all right, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Like I said, he was pretty dope. Surprised me on that one too, because I do like rappers that are braggadocious at times and have that bravado as well. But I guess it's that feel that both Freddie Gibbs and Benny the Butcher and Tyler, the Creator, gave on this CD, and even Rick Ross. Now, and that's not surprised, to be honest with you. But Rick Ross, I think, always delivers a very good flow. His delivery and anything he's on, to be honest.
That's a discussion I would like to get into about Rick Ross, but I'll save it
for a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm not going to take up all the time on it, but that's just my feel for the CD was that I didn't skip a lot of it. My favorite tracks were 1985, Scotty Beam with Rick Ross, Fred Lucas with Benny the Butcher, and then Something to Rap About is my favorite track on there. And just the delivery of it, the Alchemist, I think, did a great job on the production aspect of it, making you feel like you're, like I said earlier, sitting in the Olympic-sized pool that Drake has, trying to figure out how to move that dope in that one spot to Alaska, man. That's how I felt about it.
Scarface status.
Yeah, man. So that was my opinion on it. Such a great vibe. So I recommend it. So if I were to give it a best out of 10, I actually will give it a 9. It's just the one little thing missing, but I don't know, can't put my finger on it. But it's probably because I skip a couple of songs, probably like 1 or 2 songs. That'd probably be it. But besides that, I give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's good. You guys mind if I jump in since I was really interrupted? I had to take care of something.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. All right. This whole album through from beginning to end was amazing to me. I've been really falling victim to that grungy sound that the Northeast has, like the New York sound, Alchemist. He's just the epitome of what production is to me in New York right now in this current climate right now. He's done a great job of. I'm really gonna be talking about production a good portion of this. I'm just letting y'all know. He has a way of doing these eerie sounds, like almost Friday the 13th level. I think which track was it? Was like Friday. Oh, Frank Lucas. That shit reminded me I was running from Jason or some shit, man. That it has a way of being melancholic, dreary, but hard as fuck. There's another artist that's been really getting into a lot of that type of production called Rock Marciano, and he's been around since the early 90s. He was under Busta Rhymes crew for a while, but I digressed.
Flip Mode Squad?
You said what?
Flip Mode Squad with Busta Rhymes?
I think he was part of Flip Mode Squad, like kind of loosely with the crew.
Oh, okay.
And he's amazing. He's a great lyricist as well. And Makami's one of the guys that you could look into too. Haitian rapper, great. And my old Drew, another great artist. But anyways, as soon as 1985 hits and that electric guitar comes through, bro, I lose my fucking mind, man. That is probably my favorite song because of the production. My favorite lyric is off Shit to Rap About. Yeah, Something to Rap About. When from Freddie, where he says, I hope I can make it to 93 so I can look at the old me. That shit resonated with me, bro. That shit was amazing to me. It was such a loose, like a quick little loose one-liner, but it resonated because I would hope to grow old I would hope to grow that old and be able to look back on old pictures and shit and think back to think back to when I had hair, you know what I mean?
50 years ago.
Right.
but that ass like the features, Rick Ross is Rick Ross. I can never say nothing bad about Rick Ross. He has the consistency of his flows. He's Rick Ross. I can't really that Peter Parker line was dope. I liked it because of the Peter Parker out. I'm Peter Parker, but I haven't even reached my pinnacle yet. I like that. That was dope.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The Benny the Butcher. I was surprised that Benny didn't really stand out to me in that verse. I mean in that track. He was a little lackluster. It was very braggadocious Benny the Butcher shit. It just wasn't. It felt like let me just get this verse. Let me get these two verses out. Even though he was, it's like he was the most. He rapped the most in that verse. I mean, in that track too. So I was a little surprised by it. But I'm not a big fan of Benny the Butcher. But out of Griselda, the crew, he's the one I look up to. Like he's the lead rapper to me. The standout, surprisingly, was Conway the Machine on that what's it called? Babies and Fools. That shit was very surprisingly retrospective for Conway, because if you listen to some of his music, he's very hardcore, shoot you and your grandmother in the face type shit. Like he doesn't give a fuck. And so for him to divulge his family, like to talk about his baby moms, his son failing, my son failing algebra, that shit don't add up. You know, it's an easy bar, but for him to bring like to get personal or vulnerable like that was very surprising. So Conway's my favorite feature on this album. But I love Freddie, man. Freddie Gibbs, I've recently got into him last year. He had the best album of the year to me. I'm surprised he didn't get nominated, but even in this album he says, how they gonna nominate me? I got cocaine in my name. I'm like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, you're not gonna get it. You're not family. You're not wholesome. You're not gonna hit that. But yeah, Bandana was a great album produced by Madlib. He's finding his niches, man. He's finding this perfect production right now. He's on a fucking roll. Like you can't stop him. Yeah, from beginning to end, this is one of my favorite albums right now. Right now, it's one of my favorite albums. So keep it going, Freddie, man. I'm listening. Trust me. You and Pusha T need to make a collab album or something, man.
Ooh!
I think he might kill Pusha T on it, though. I think he might kill Pusha T on it, though.
That was just a glimpse from Bandana. Bro, from Bandana, Palm Olive, that shit was amazing. I got enough stars.
That's a ooh.
I don't know.
Come on, man. But all right, I'm good. I've done enough dick eating right now, so Freddie Gibbs, you killing it, bro. Killing it. Go ahead. All right, who's up?
So for me, you know, like Max was saying, when the first track dropped, 1985, and like, to me, I feel like that was like the sound of like somebody whooping, like, make sure you take out the trash, and how they incorporated that to the song. And then they dropped, the guitar with it. I was like, okay, this is something I can vibe to. Like that incorporation was like lit for me. That said, then I was vibing really with God is Perfect. The way he was just like flowing with that, like it resonated with me. Like, of course me, I like grimy stuff like at times, and then this album, like it felt like it was telling a story with every single song that went out there. Like it was really riding the title of the song or the beat, and I was always trying to listen to it to try to figure out why they named the song that name. Then when it comes to, of course, Frank Lucas, I felt like, this is like telling the story of Frank Lucas, just like by the title of it and how they were rapping to it. Like it just really resonated with me, because I felt like I was being pulled into the song. Like I was being pulled into the title. I felt like I was being pulled into the story, because they was rapping about their life and everything like that, like in multiple songs, even with the features and everything like that. I felt like they really held to it, because a lot of times nowadays you get rappers or singers, whatever, and they just don't seem like they're really staying true to what they're trying to say. And like I don't know, the song just felt different. Like I felt like the whole album itself I was able to listen to multiple times, and I was really trying to find a meaning of all the songs, because I felt like it was pulling me into wanting to know why it was rapping and why it was titled that way.
The funny thing about Scotty Beam, the title, I heard him on an interview sort of type of thing. He said they were like, "Yo, why Scotty Beam?" He's like, "Man, it just rhymed well. When I rhymed it, it just sounded good. Like when he speaks, I want a girl that's like Scotty Beam, because there's a chick. I think she's a model. She's her name is Scotty. Like that's her name, Scotty Beam. And I think
He's
she's a
mostly
model.
into activism.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And so he just rhymed with it, like, and he's like, you know what, just name that title Scotty Beam. But yeah, so most of these titles you can kind of see like there's some kind of meaning for it. Like
Yeah,
Frank
or he pulls
Lucas.
out that,
Yeah.
or he pulls out the name in some way. Like, you know, he was even talking about like Scottie Pippen and the Bulls, and
Oh
like
yeah, that was dope.
That was a good
I
line.
was like,
Yeah,
yo,
that's
I was like,
great,
all right, and like,
I
you know,
like
I was
that
feeling
shit.
it. So that's why I liked it a lot. Like, it was that grind pool because, you know, I always like Jeezy and all type of stuff, but this was bringing me back because I felt like I've been missing a rapper like this. Like, you know, maybe it's mainstream because maybe I don't listen to enough stuff, but I'm glad I was introduced to it when you called it out, Max, like Bandana last year. I jumped right on it. Definitely loved it and started feeling this one too. So I'm looking forward to whatever else he produces.
Another great production with Madlib that he did was Pinata. That's what really solidified him, separated him from, you know, other up and comers at that time. So check out Pinata if you haven't heard that one from him as well.
Okay.
Aye, aye, Captain.
I'm just saying, like, if you want more content like that, yeah, it's dope.
Huh.
All right, you up, Mr. Thomas?
All right, well, it was cool. It was like I don't know. It didn't register with me like it registered with y'all. Like from the beginning, like I think that was a Bernie Mac sample
Yes.
of 1985.
Good point. Yeah.
And that part was like, all right, cool. You know, I'm ready to go into it. And then the switch, when it switched, I felt a type of way. Like that switch that they did from that skit,
Yeah.
to into the song. Normally, I would probably not even listen to the album from that point on. After that,
What was the transition? What was it that?
it was a hard transition.
Like it was too hard. Okay, I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it was a hard transition, which I was all right. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna listen through all the way through, like, cause Freddie Gibbs has
Witty, man.
he has lyrics for days, but at the same time, it was like maybe I just wasn't in the mood to sit there and listen. I listened to it twice from front to back, which normally I listen to an album only once front to back, then I put it on random because I don't like the predictableness of it.
I hear you.
But so I think, you know, I did one album front to back, but then it was cool. The beats, Alchemist beats are mad laid back, and they're like, they give you that chill, you can ride vibe to them, which is probably another knock I had to it. I was listening to it, you know, while driving. I was listening to it while I was sitting down. So, like, and just while doing stuff. So it wasn't really, I don't think the atmosphere I was listening to the album was doing it justice.
Okay.
But the features, they stuck out too. Like, you know, I didn't catch it was Benny the Butcher because when I was listening to it, I didn't see who was all features. You know, Ross, you can tell Ross from,
of course,
just from when he starts. Tyler, the Creator, he does what he does when it comes to his rapping abilities. Seeing him live last year, listening to a lot of his stuff post Goblin. Goblin was probably my least favorite of his projects.
Yeah, too much.
Post Goblin, I banged with all the stuff that he's been working on with that. It was cool. It was cool. It was maybe one or like the Frank Lucas track. None of the lyrics is what caught me. It was more so Alchemist's production.
Oh yeah,
that brought it for me. That dark grittiness of the production is what carried it, in my opinion. It was like when you were reciting the lines, I was like, oh yeah, I remember hearing that, but a lot of them just went in one ear.
Yeah, right over. Yeah, it didn't really register with you.
It didn't register. And it was that's why I was like, you know, like you were saying, like, you know, you can see him collabing with like Pusha T. I can't see him collabing with any artist with his style because it would do it a disservice. Like him collabing with producers makes more sense to me than him collabing with another rap artist. That's just going to be lyrical miracle through the whole album. At that point,
I don't think Freddie's heavy lyrically. Well, he
He
got a
is.
couple metaphors. He got a couple metaphors and some punchlines.
He's doing what I believe some older rappers should do. Like, listen to old lyrical rappers from like the '90s who are still making music, but you still don't see like the album releases now.
Yeah.
Like, not name dropping any of them, but there's one rapper I remember back heavy in the '90s who's on the same lyrical New York sound. But if you listen to his new albums now, he only drops one, like does a few lines, and then someone else carries the song for him. So that's like, I would not want to hear. I would not want to hear something like that with like Freddie Gibbs. So like, I guess if I was in the mood to hear it, it would be a different subject. Like if I was in like that hip hop.
So he needs to stay within this type of formatting of 10 tracks, 8 to 10 tracks an album.
No, I think you should do more. I don't like how short it was either. Like
Really?
I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that one as far as the album goes. Like I said, I don't even Pusha T's my favorite rapper. I'm putting him on a pedestal because of that. But I felt like with the number of tracks he had on that last CD wasn't really a CD to me because there's a lack of number of tracks.
Well, people swear that's a CD.
I get it. The production is there, but I don't feel like a CD is really a CD if it's less than 9 or 10 tracks. So
Yeah.
that's why I thought this. That's why I thought the CD that we were listening to, Alfredo. I thought it was a mixtape. I didn't even know it was really a CD or an LP. Or how do you say? I always call everything CDs and albums anyway because I'm so old. But regardless of the fact, it's just one of those things. One of the things, and just to harp on what you said, Mr. Random, the fact that I talked to another friend of mine who listens to music heavy like that too, and he was saying the same thing, that he just felt like Freddie gave more on Bandana than he did on this one. And
I can agree with that.
And I think it's because, and this is, like I said, just all opinion from what we're going off of. I think it's because of the fact that on Bandana, he had a good, diverse production on that one. Like, not every beat was the same. But I think in this Alfredo one, I felt it was a good CD because I could actually sit down and vibe to the whole thing. Like, I felt like there was a good vibe there for it all. But like I said, it's, everyone has their own opinion and whatnot. Mine was the fact that it gave me that opportunity. Even while I was working outside in the yard listening to it, I didn't feel like I was doing work because I was listening to it in such a good vibe. I was like, Yeah. So when I came back into the house and listened to it a second time, that's when I was like, okay, this is something that I can actually lay back to and listen to. And, now, like I said, I skip about 2 or 3 tracks, but like I said, I think that's the reason why I gave you that 9 out of 10. But everything else gave me that flow of like, all right, this is actually a pretty good CD. Not taking nothing away from him.
Yeah, it's definitely a vibe. It's definitely a vibe. That's one thing I can say. Like I was saying, like if I'm going on a trip, not even a long drive, I guess, like a good from from here, city to city, I can put it on, listen to it on the way. But it wasn't. Yeah, it hits. And the other thing though, it could be, I don't know how it was recorded, but if it was recorded in this atmosphere, this pandemic, I don't think anyone really is going to have like the mixture of them working together in the same booth or something like that. I think there's a good chance a lot of this stuff was probably mailed back and forth, emailed back and forth between each other.
That's something that he did say. When I saw an interview for it, he said, we pretty much was just going back and forth. They didn't really have. I don't think I think there was a few times they were able to be like some of the earlier songs, some certain songs released around here, but I think majority of it was mailed back and forth, which it does bother me that in this day and age, it's so easy just to transfer music. I think it's more authentic and organic when you're just in the booth, like you're in the studio together and just working. Right. But I've never been in the studio. Well, I've never been in that kind of atmosphere where, 2 rappers are there or 2 artists are there and they're just, going in the booth, saying what they want to say and then kind of building up what they want to build.
I think you can hear it on someone on like with the Rick Ross one, he goes and all of a sudden Rick Ross goes. So it's not like they're going to be feeding off each other, but it's one person heard what the other one most likely did.
Right. So like that's what I was thinking too. Is like if you're together, like there's a different flow of energy. Like you build off of each other. Like you might even ad lib or add even different additions that makes a song come together better. Like the production of it and everything like that. Or it might even change what you want to say because you feel like, you know, you're catching the vibe of somebody else. So that possibly could be part of it.
I still enjoyed it. I mean, the only things I can say that I was is what the content is, what that Freddie's talking about. Like, you know, it's sort of like that Pusha T ref, like what kind of Pusha T does. He's consistent. It's consistent. There's a consistency there, and the content is usually similar. You know, you can only talk about coke and pushing and fucking whatever females. Like, you can only talk about that so many times. But it's the delivery, how else you're changing up his flow. I feel like he experimented a lot with his flow on this album. There was one time where there was one flow that reminded me of a Bandana, but after that, everything is just a little different. He goes a little faster than he usually does. He slows it down. Like there's a certain like inflection with some, like it's just he's a witty and funny dude. The skits are really well placed in this too. Like in the end of songs with I think one of the skits was from The Godfather in Harlem, or Harlem and Godfather off Harlem, I think it is, with Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, Bumpy.
Where the guy's talking about that racist ass fucking comment that I'm assuming he was talking to one of the Italians.
Yeah, that's
like, you know what makes me go to sleep at night, Bumpy? About seeing having these black kids grow up with habits, having these moms being addicted and shit. You know, he's saying way more, you know, fucked up shit. But
yeah,
I was like, God dang! And then they went into the next song that kind of dealt with, you know, drugs, or I think they dealt into the Conway, the Machine.
Yeah, Baby and Fools.
You said what?
That might have been Baby and Fools. Or the one
that was the end of the song. Yeah, and then they went into the Look Glass or the Glass.
The Glass is the last one.
I was
like,
Glass.
Wow.
All Glass.
Yeah, All Glass. I was like, Jesus. But great album overall.
That might have been it too, because the skits made it feel like a '90s album, but then the length did it.
Like the late '80s, maybe like late '80s, early '90s feel. That's how I felt a little bit. That grunginess of it, I love Alchemist's atmosphere in his music, bro.
That's why I say '90s, because the late '80s, you looking more like, what's that? Rappers Delight almost.
KRS-One, KRS-One, Rakim.
Like I said, I was horrible with dates and years. So it gave me like a full '80s, maybe '90s flow, maybe that.
But hey, all right. I just pressed the record button now. All right. So yeah, we're good. I think an 8.5, 9 out of 10 for me. King, you said 9.5. Mr. Thomas, what you rating it?
9.
What you rating it?
7.
7?
Yeah.
Average, not bad. What about you, James?
I'm giving it an 8, but you know, it's really making me wonder what he's going to bring next time. You know, after listening to Bandana and Alfredo, like I'm really wondering what he's going to bring next time, because sometimes I feel like, you know, if you flow about the same stuff, even if your flow is switched up, you can't keep. You gotta grow. Like I'm not saying he's not going to grow, because he's a great lyricist. It's just that I feel like I'm looking for something else. So now I'm wondering what's next. You know, I'll
tell you, if you want that cocaine rap, Pusha T all day.
Yeah.
Don't have to move away from it.
Pusha T, we trust.
Yeah.
You know,
I used to shit on Pusha T and his brother Malice back in the day, bro. Back when I was younger, the only beat that we all knew was grinding. But if you really, like, people are saying where Pusha T come from with his lyric game, like, he's been consistent throughout his career. He's gotten better, of course. But I go back and listen to, like, Hell Have No Fury. Like, this motherfucker was spitting.
Yeah.
No, he really was.
I'm about to take back some of that shit that I was talking about. But yeah, Freddie Gibbs, Alfredo, for the ones that are interested and, you know, you guys believe in our taste, we suggest you to look into his discography, especially the most recent album that he came out with. So, but Mr. Nigel, how'd you feel about the album?
It was pretty good. I like the intro to number 6. All right, let me stop bullshit.
No, he's still in there.
Yo, you good, bro. You good. No, but the next portion, our next segment, we want to kind of get into like what we did last month for the new followers, new viewers. We're trying to implement a whole monthly media consumption that we've been really getting into. So we'll start off with Nigel. What'd you be getting into the month of May? What kind of
Month
media
of
have you been
May.
consuming?
What type of media?
Yeah,
TV,
TV, music, anything. This is
movies.
your floor.
What's been holding your attention?
Well, recently.
Whack!
Somebody's gonna do it. All right, anyway.
Hate him, yo.
Go ahead, bro.
No, we've been watching a lot of just historical movies, based on what's been going on in the world.
Yeah.
We've kind of been watching, one of them we watched was Detroit. I don't know if y'all seen that or not.
Ooh, I gotta get on to that one.
You said Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit. We also watched Just Mercy. The one
Give
with
us
Jamie
give us
Foxx.
a synopsis on Detroit for the ones that don't know.
So far, we're actually in the midst of watching it now. I actually had to stop it about an hour left, but it's in the 1960s. It starts off where it looks like there's a establishment, black people in Detroit, and they're just drinking and partying, and it gets broken up. You ended up finding out later that they were just having liquor without a license. You know what I mean? Selling liquor without a license.
Oh.
That's kind of why it got broken up, but they just went overboard with how they were doing it, from my perspective. And then there was everyone in the streets when they pulled everyone out and lined them up. You know how they did back then. They just had everyone out, lined them up, the cops and everything. And people were asking, what's going on? Why are y'all doing this again? You know what I mean? And that's when riots started happening. And the way the movie is going, there's a young group that look like they're singers. And in the midst of all the rioting and going on in the 60s, it's just a young group of kids. They're singers, and they get caught up in some bull crap in this hotel with some two white girls, just having fun with them. And one of the guys in there, he had I don't know if it was a real gun or a cap gun. I asked myself, is that a real one? But he started popping off with the gun, and I think the military was already in the city and everything, and the cops were there, Detroit cops, the state troopers were there, and they heard it and they thought it was a sniper in there. So that's when they got bum rushed by Detroit police, and you already know that the police that showed up there were already, pretty racist. They were racist, and just shooting. One of the guys, he was looting. He had groceries, and he shot him in the back because he was running. You know what I mean? Just shit like that. So it's those cops that go there to try to find the sniper, the sniper.
Yeah.
But it turns out there's no gun there, but they got him lined up on the wall and they're antagonizing them and trying to. That one of the guys he shoots him in the back again and plants a knife on him. Just that type of stuff that's been going on. You know what I mean? And seeing it now.
Shit that's been happening for for years.
Plenty of time.
Very, very long time.
I do remember watching that movie, thinking, "Wow, it was an interesting period piece." And then I found out it was like a true story, and I was like, "Oh, this."
Yeah, that's. I really like true story movies because it kind of hits you different. It's not just something somebody fabricated. Exactly. It's actual events.
I read about an article on it that the actual events that happened. Mm-hmm. And years before, not years, but a couple years back, around the time the movie was coming out, because I think the movie came out 2017, 18? 17. Yeah, I read the article on that, excuse me. And yeah, I mean, not that I was desensitized from it, but it was just like, okay, yep, this is just some bullshit happening again. So
yeah.
So it's happened so many times.
Yeah, then I'm thinking, do I even want to watch this? Because there's still movies that I have in my catalog, in my backlog, that I'm like, do I really want to get this upset? Do I want to watch something that's gonna get me furious? And so you gotta mentally prepare yourself for those things.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to watch, but I figured I'd go ahead and start watching these, not to really pump myself up for what's going on now, just to, because in the beginning of it all, I kind of been just not staying away from it, but just taking it as more bullshit is going on. You know what I mean? But it's been just getting blown up more and more, and it's been getting closer and closer to home, and it starts to hit you different. You know what I mean? So
especially having people that you care for. You know what I mean? Like having a child, for instance, that shit can really affect your thought process as well.
Yeah, it does. And just the fact that when you think about it, something so little can get just blown up, taken up the wrong way. I mean, I think the guy George Floyd, he had a fraud check or something, and got arrested for it.
It was a $20 bill, I think.
It was a $10 and $20 bill.
It was fake.
Supposedly it's supposed to be fake, but he might not even know it was fake. So
we'll get into that. Trust me. We'll get into that. But okay, so Detroit. So Detroit, so far you're not done with it.
Yeah, we're not done with it right now. Once the state troopers came, they showed up and they was like, we'll let the Detroit police handle it because they don't want to get into this Civil War battle. And they just left. And that's when the military showed up. They started circling the house. And the two of the guys that were in there, they just went down to the basement, and that's where we stopped because the military started circling the house.
I'm sure it's gonna be one of those movies where it's just there's no such thing as a happy ending. So
yeah, I don't think it is
in that situation.
Yeah.
So anything else other than the heaviness of Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit. Just Mercy was another good one that we watched. They made that free. That's with Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx. It was in Minnesota. I know it was in the South. It was in the South. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it was Minnesota or Alabama, but it was in the South. You know, the guy who played Jamie Foxx. I forget their names, their real names, but this is just another true story. He got arrested for the murder of a young white woman. No evidence. You know, no fingerprints, nothing really on him except for the word of mouth of one other person that said that, yeah, he's the guy that did it. And he was on death row for that. So Michael B. Jordan, he's the lawyer. He came from New York. He was the one that wanted to open up an establishment to get people off death row. And that was one of the cases he took on, was to get him off. And him and a young white woman started that establishment to get him off. Started digging into the cases and finding out that it's just some really they had no evidence, you know. They're just trying to uphold justice.
And I don't know if all y'all have seen it, but try to stay away from spoilers because that is another movie that I want to get into.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know if y'all have seen it.
It just became free, right, for us to watch or whatever.
I don't know how long, but I think for a while it is.
Yeah, it's free for rent right now. I
gotta check that out.
Yeah, you can go to YouTube and watch it.
Michael B. Jordan is a great actor. A lot of people try to shit on him, but I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
I
think he did a pretty good job.
I will counterpoint that a little bit, but yeah.
I think he has his certain roles that like shine a lot of light on him. Like that's what I think. Like he has his certain roles.
He has the potential, but some directors will have him play the same role.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Three of his characters are the same exact person, it seems like, but
I could see that argument, but people were saying that about, well, not to deter away from what Nigel is still on, the spotlight on Nigel, but people were saying that about Will Smith, and he gave them Pursuit of Happiness and 7 Pounds, which is just two that I can name off the top that he did an amazing job on, acting wise and emotive, like showing that emotion.
Yeah, Will Smith's definitely a good actor, but unfortunately, you'll always see the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when you see it.
Even that Fresh Prince, that one scene with his father, that shit still destroys me.
Oh yeah, I can't watch that without one of these happening. I'm like, oh shit.
Anyways, my bad. So okay, so what was it called? Mercy? What was the movie?
Just Mercy. Just Mercy. Yeah, that's another one. You know, just based off a true story. Just more, you know, unjust. Legal system aiming at people of color. And you know what I mean? I think they said like 9 out of 10 people in death row, one of them is there innocent. You know what I mean? For black people. And then you think about it, that's pretty damn high if you're going to be someone of a crime. Putting him to death.
Or it's a crime that's like should be ridiculously minuscule, and they hyped it up and gave him a ridiculous amount of years or something like that. So
yeah. Another person, not to be a spoiler, but you know, just in that same movie, there's another guy in there on death row who has no evidence on him. You know what I mean? It was just another person in jail because somebody said, "That's the guy. You look like a criminal, so it was you," and they put him in jail on death row.
Look like a criminal.
And you know, people could be like, man, that shit don't happen. Nah, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of been my mentality up until recently. You know, I'm always like, what really happened? You know what I mean? Let me ask more questions to find out what really happened, rather than just say, yeah, that white guy was just going after him, you know, just because of his skin color. But
No.
I'm starting to be more convinced that you do have some people out there that still have that mentality.
No, there is people out there that have that mentality, bro.
Yeah.
But all right. So,
But yeah.
So is there any other form of media that you've been getting into?
I've been playing a lot of old games on my Nintendo Switch. But
Ooh, what are you playing?
No, I've been playing Grandia too. My man Chris Thomas is the one that shined light on the fact that it's been up there for almost a year now, and I didn't even know about it. I've been trying to refurbish my PS2 so I can play my old one, but
you've been a big fan of Grandia. What's it called, Grandia?
Yeah, Grandia. I didn't play the first one, but I did play the second and third one.
You ain't play the first one?
I didn't, but I have it now. So.
Thomas is appalled.
That's what got me into the series. The first one, it's good. It's good.
So it's a collection from 1 through 3 on the Switch.
No, it's just 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
The third one is I have it on PS2, but
I think the third one not even really the third one.
There is a third one.
There's 4 of them, Extreme and 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Extreme came out before the third one, but I don't know if they usually don't count Grand Extreme.
I got you.
Okay. So what's up? Like what kind of music you get into? You still getting into the 90s Busta Rhymes or
music? You know what it is about music for me? I've realized this. You know, I listen to
No, get on your soapbox first. Go ahead.
I'll listen to new music, you know, when I'm with y'all, you know what I mean? But what makes me listen to music like on my own, I gotta know the words to it already. So I like to sing along or rap along or whatever it is. And if I can't do that, I'm just listening. I'm like,
I know the perfect soundtrack for you. Kids Bop 13.
No, I get that. I get that sentiment because like you feel like you're a part of the music. You're not just sitting there listening.
Yeah. Like when I'm out back cutting the grass or something and I got headphones on and something I know comes on, I'm singing right then. I'm singing right there, you know.
Yeah, so that's why you
get karaoke. I got you.
No, that's what's up.
But yeah, I mean, I like new music, but I just don't have it in me to just listen to it on my own.
You can be honest. Some of the music now sucks.
There's some good tracks out there. Don't say all new music sucks.
To me, I mean, not to say we finish shine, but some music to me just sounds the same. To be honest with you, it's just
it does.
And I'm gonna be serious about it too. A lot of this new music I've been listening to has been coming from up north.
Yeah.
I can't even listen to some of the South music at the current moment. There's no dissing any of the South music, but they just
you can diss the South.
Right now at the current moment. They all I mean, I'll talk about it when it's my turn. I'm sorry. I'll talk about it when it's my turn.
Go ahead. You're already on there.
No, that's not.
I'm good.
Nigel, you got anything else before we move on?
No, I'm good, man. That's pretty much wraps it up for me.
All right. Well, Mr. King, you're already on the roll, so let's get it.
Oh, am I? I'm on the roll too, okay,
I'm ready for what you're about to say.
So, I mean, like I said, we're talking about the music aspect of things. I've been listening to a lot of different music as of recently, with all the free time that I have. I guess in the month of May. So. The subject I'll say about the music from down south, I think right now, you got a couple of rappers that are sounding alike or even sounding the same names. I know we had a couple of conversations about DaBaby, DaBaby, D-A-B-A-B-Y. Yeah, how some of his verses and his lyrics sound about the same. He's got that same bop. He's got that same cadence. And listening to a past interview of his, he admits it. He's like, look, if that same cadence is getting me that money, then I ain't going to change it. And I get it. I do. And then you have Little Baby from Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't understand the fucking word comes out of his mouth. But I'm not gonna lie to you, man. He's like one of the rappers that he's making movement though, and I'm just like, how?
He has a lot of traction right now.
So like I said, it's not taking anything away from him. I know I make a lot of jokes about this, but a lot of people have been listening to the god of Atlanta right now, Future. That's a whole lot of toxic masculinity right there, man. I just can't get away from it. It's like his music is funny, it's hilarious, but at the same time, he's got that same cadence too, though, man. And his raps ain't bad, like I said, and the production's there for him too. So that's pretty good. But like I was saying, I've been listening to a lot of new music, and let me pull it up real quick. Like I said a little earlier, we were talking about Freddie Gibbs, Alfredo. I thought it was pretty good. I listened to that a couple of times. And then I had also downloaded the Styles P CD. I think Styles P, he's one of the rappers just like, he's one of the up north rappers kind of like Jadakiss. He doesn't get the notoriety or the fame that he deserves because a lot of people sleep on him or because of the fact he was in a group. And so between him and Jadakiss, I mean, it's kind of tough, but they earned that respect in hip hop, and they're still relevant now. And the reason you don't hear their names a lot is because of the fact they're not mainstream. I'm sorry, they're not catering to the commercial rap. And so a lot of things that are making that money right now, they're not getting the notoriety for it. I think that's pretty. He got a pretty dope CD out right now. Then I downloaded some old school tracks, of course. I got BG's Chopper City in the Ghetto. Anyone know that one?
You said BG?
No one knows BG from Cash Money? Chopper City in the Ghetto?
I've heard BG. I've heard of BG.
I killed Hot Boys?
Hot Boys, but I've never.
Feel bad now because I thought you said the BGs. I was like, what?
Oh, no, BG. I downloaded BG's old school track, Chopper City in the Ghetto. That's the old school Cash Money.
Okay. I thought you said he released some new shit. I was like, whoa.
Oh, no. I don't think he released anything new as of recently. I just went and downloaded one of his old CDs, and I downloaded The Block Is Hot from Lil Wayne. That's an old one right there, too.
That's a real old one right there.
Yeah, it's an old one. But I listened to Wiz Khalifa's tracks as well. His most recent one, the saga of Wiz Khalifa, which I think is pretty dope from beginning to end as well. I think he ventures away from his usual cadence or style too, which is pretty dope. And then the other one I downloaded and also listening to was actually that the one I had listened to recently was the Allegory from Royce da 5'9", and that I think that CD by itself is just so much on the black excellence of owning your masters. At the same time, he said if you're owning your masters and your track is trash, there's no point in having it.
Yeah, it's
pretty interesting perspective on it, man. But Royce, I think this CD is actually better than his last one because the last one I felt like was more of a family tale. Personal CD which he released, but this Allegory one gives me a little bit rendition of listening to a up north. I'm hating to forget his name. I'm hating to forget his name now. But he's giving information kind of like Nipsey Hussle. There you go.
Oh,
from another aspect, Nipsey Hussle will tell you to own your stuff, making sure you're doing the right things, but at the same time, he's not being commercial neither about it. He knows it too. He airs out a lot of beef that he has with Yellow Wolf and things like that on his track.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope on there, man. So that's a lot of music I've been listening to this so far. As far as books, I've been reading a lot of books as well. I just got done with Unfuck Yourself. I don't know his name, the author of it, but I read Unfuck Yourself, pretty much just give you opportunity to try to do better in what's going on or what you have going on and try to get yourself stuck out of the mud and starting a company, starting something that you haven't done before or you're looking to do. And right now I'm working on another book. Let me grab it here. I'm working on Life Is What You Make It. Probably can't see because the dang light, but put it up there. But Life Is What You Make It from Peter Buffett. So I'm working on that book right now at the current moment as well. But just working on other things also, trying to start another venture and keep positivity alive because a lot of things are going on at the current moment. So created a Instagram page as well, _Brunos.bright.corner _ if you got to decide to follow it, I appreciate it. But just staying a track of music, reading as well, and it's trying to be that positive light that everybody needs in these dark moments at the current time. So that's what I've been focusing on as of recently.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Like I said, every once in a while, distraction doesn't hurt from what's happening in real life. Always keep that mentality where it needs to be. But every once in a while, thinking too much about it might run you to the ground. So. Yeah,
I think it's a constant balance right now. It's a tough balance of being informed and not being bogged down about the information you receive. There's a lot going on, we'll talk about that a little later, but there's a lot going on at the moment where sometimes you got to take yourself away, take a mental break from that social media and things of that nature and, actually read a book or even just play a game, do something, talk to somebody. But we'll talk about that a little later, though.
Nah, facts. All right. I mean, I can go next or anybody want to jump in?
I'll go.
You go? All right.
So I've been I've been listening to Alfredo, of course. You know, I like it. One thing I like about this, you know, it's coming together is the fact that, like, you know, I get introduced to so much more new music. I've definitely been finding that, like, especially with the time and, you know, with social distancing and everything like that, that's definitely been a thing I've been doing. And it's kind of nice because, you know, I used to listen to so much music back in the day, but, you know, once I started going to the gym all the time, like, you know, that kind of got refined, and I was trying to listen to upbeat stuff just to be like in the gym. But now, like, you know, I'm expanding all the horizons and paying attention to other, you know, artists, and I'm vibing with a lot of them. You know, I'm glad I opened my ears to listen to different things. You know, not being in that same cycle of repeating the same music and stuff like that. Because a lot of times, you know, you listen to it to get in there and get out. But now I'm just listening to what people are putting out there, like, you know, what they're putting their hearts into, especially when they actually have a good production and they're trying to say something versus the same stuff about rap about money over and over, or winning over and over what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise than that, I was watching 911, the show. It's related to Chicago. It's pretty interesting. I've been watching episodes on and off. Otherwise, and then I guess anime, Doro, is that it? Is that how you pronounce it correctly?
Dorohedro or Dororo?
The lizard head.
Yeah.
Whatever. That anime is crazy. Like, man, I was like, in the very beginning, I was watching it, and I was just like, all right, what the living hell is going on here?
I love it.
I don't think I'm interested in this. And then I watched the second episode. Then when I got to the third episode, I was like, oh, this is flat out crazy. I gotta watch this now. Like, it's grimy. Like, everything randomly that can happen is happening in there. And I'm just like, I have to watch it. I'm too drawn in now. Like, it's so different from what I'm used to watching that it just pulled me in.
Keep going. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just so much.
Yeah, like,
so
you know,
much.
With the characters. And like, somebody being in love with somebody, kind of like not even knowing they're really in love. Like, I'm like, what? Like, okay. Then you got devils and stuff. I'm like, huh? What the world? What is happening here? But yeah. It's kind of it's crazy. Even with the graphics and how they draw everything, it's like it stands out. Especially with all the mushrooms.
That animation style is a little crazy.
It's CGI-ish.
Yeah, it's
CGI-ish.
It's CGI-ish, but like not all the way. Like, it's like it's a mixture or something. But
yeah, the main characters have more of a CGI look, and the backgrounds are 2D though.
Cardboard? Got it.
It's like they kind of like the background is sort of like a normal anime, but the characters kind of move in CGI, and it's just the aesthetic of it is kind of jarring, but it fits the world.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
Otherwise than that, I've been watching another anime. Is Tower of God. Yeah, Tower of God.
Yeah, you mentioned that one before. How far are you in there now?
The last episode I think was 9 or 10. Like, I'm caught up with it. Caught up with it.
I haven't watched one episode yet.
You know, of course I hate waiting every week because like it draws you in. Like, you want to know what's at the end of it, but you know, I deal with it like another TV show at Aaron, so it is what it is. Otherwise, now I'm probably looking for something new. Whenever y'all guys make another suggestion, I'll probably just like
what's Tower of God about?
Tower of God is about basically this boy that wakes up and don't know who he is, but he gets attached to this girl, and they're trying to go to the top of the tower so they'd be able to grant the power because the girl wants to see the stars. She wants to see the real world, and the tower's like inside. And there's all these groups of collective people are trying to get their to achieve whatever dream they want to, because once they reach the top of the tower, I think they can grant any wish or do something like that. And everybody's working together or fighting against each other, backstab each other, because like it's a competition to get there. Like, you're working with people, but you're also in competition just to reach the top, to reach your goal. And some people you find more interesting than not, because it seems like this guy has a whole lot of energy, but people don't know where he actually came from. So like everybody's getting interested in him, as far as like the instructors and everything like that. And they're like, yo, who is this person? This guy is different. Somebody to watch, and going on from there. Like, I'm still finding out more about it as I watch it and go on.
Yeah, it's one of those as you go on type of thing.
Is it a high school anime, or what is it, like a high school anime, or is it like a grown anime?
It's actually kind of like grown, honestly. There's the kids, they're not really kids. It's like all different types of people in there. Like, it's just different characters.
Gotcha.
Lizard to everything. Like anything you can come up with. Like if you was like in a game, like where you can create your own character or something like that. It's kind of like that, and the people have different powers and stuff like that, and just go along with it.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Otherwise, I don't think there's any other TV shows I've been paying attention to, but I have a couple on my list I need to jump on, but I'm gonna watch those movies. Just Mercy and Detroit. I could have sworn I seen or read something about Detroit in the past, but I never watched the movie because like this is one of those things that I really feel it when I'm watching it and it draws me in. So like I try to like separate myself because I gotta believe that not everybody is that way. But we'll talk more about that when we get to the subject.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Thomas? You mind if I jump in? You good?
You can jump in.
All right. So music, like we already discussed, it has been Alfredo, but the other honorable mentions I would like to just briefly go on into is Hard on HARD by Joel Ortiz and Crooked Eye. King Crooked. Excuse me, he changed his name.
They did change the name, didn't he? Yep.
Yeah. These two artists have been in the game since I didn't know about them until the early 2000, not early 2000, but about 2005-ish, 2006, 2007. These guys are lyrical monsters in my eyes. They used to be in a collective group called Slaughterhouse with Joe Budden, that I'm sure most people know of from his podcast. He's a podcaster now, but he used to be a rapper for the kids that don't know. And Royce the 5'9", which Mr. King brought up earlier with the Allegory album that he had. These four were a super group known as Slaughterhouse, and lyrically they were or still are amazing together and outside of the group. This album Hard just released, I think, last week or a couple back last Friday, I think it was, and it's just 8 tracks, about 28 minutes long, 24, 28 minutes long, and it's just heavy bars, especially from King Crooked. I feel like, and most of the productions by Heatmakers. I don't know if you guys know much about the Heatmakers, but they've been in the game since Diplomats, and Joel Santana, Cameron, Jim Jones, and them, and just the beat selection is beautiful, production is beautiful, lyrics are great, especially for King Crooked. Like I said, Joel Ortiz does great music personally. When it's introspective on him, he does a great delivery on what he's speaking on, the imagery and all that. Always been a Joel Ortiz fan, and Puerto Rico stand up. But music, yeah, that's music. Styles P was mentioned earlier. He dropped an album. I haven't finished it all the way through, but it's really good. And Run the Jewels 4 released just yesterday.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that one.
Oh my God, this album! I wish this album would have dropped before we made our decision on Freddie Gibbs. Nothing against Freddie, but this album is beautiful for the climate of what's happening in our life here in the U.S. of A. This shit is like righteousness meets retribution meets it has a lot of that high energy that, of course, during the safety of your home, I don't promote any kind of violence, but it makes you want to punch somebody in the fucking face. So I love the energy that this album gives. It's the third album, Run the Jewels, is my first time getting into them. I've heard about Run the Jewels. I never took them very seriously. Forgive me. Killer Mike is one of the best MCs, and in this album, EIP, what is his name? EIP.
EIP.
Yeah, EIP, the white dude that's in the group, like this motherfucker tops bars on top of bars on top of bars. He's an amazing artist, amazing lyricist. I want to look into his past discography if he has any solo junk. I haven't bothered to look into it yet, but it's something I want to get into. But yes, Run the Jewels 4, please get into it. Beautiful, beautiful album. Shit, when it comes to TV shows or just anime, bro, y'all know I'm still on One Piece. I've been slowing down, but I'm gonna get back into it because the next subject I'm about to bring up has been holding me back from getting back into anime like that. We have One Piece episode 217 right now. Yeah. So, and then when it comes to I had one more. Oh, video games. Beginning into the Yakuza series.
Good choice.
I have to
Good
shout
choice.
out Mr. Thomas. Thank you so much for putting me on this fucking game, bro. This game is so fucking good. I fucking love it so much, man. I could go on for hours on why I love this game, but I'm shorten it down that you're pretty much for ones that don't know what a Yakuza is, it's pretty much a mob, someone that in the mafia. They do illegal shit, but the idea what originally what the Yakuza were people that helped their communities a lot. Like they had their hands in a lot of shit, but they were trying to build up their communities, trying to keep everything in the borders of how they feel is necessary. But of course, you get the ones that lose their morality or they have a skewed sense of morality, and you got motherfuckers chopping off pinkies and shit. So this game just does a good representation in my eyes of the idea of what a Yakuza is to one main character, which his name is Kiryu Kazuma. And this guy's just an epitome of a badass and the type of trope that I enjoy in a main character. He's very stubborn in his code. He's that type where I don't mess with kids and women. Like he's definitely that guy. But he's also really like gritty and get really violent. It's a perfect dichotomy of what the cold exterior type of tough guy is, and it resonates with me. Not because I see myself like that, but I've always enjoyed that, watching that type of character progress in a story. And the game's kind of goofy too, so I love it doesn't take itself too seriously sometimes, and so it has a great balance. But yes, go ahead.
I'll say he's hard to put your finger on at the moment because you're looking at him at the beginning of his story. So
yes,
he grows. He's a good 360 character, like a good, well-rounded character.
So you see more of him because right now he's just he's kind of a walking tough guy. You know what I mean?
It's a character development, huh?
Yeah, he has 7 games of character development. So
yeah, and that's one thing I'm really looking forward to. I'm playing the remake on the PS4, and I'm only playing the first Yakuza. I'm playing them as they were released, not like in chronological order. I'm not doing that. I decided to do that, and there's people that do it the other way. But yes, the game is
bad boy, huh?
Yes,
breaking all the rules.
Damn right, I don't give a fuck. But no, that's all I have. I'm good media-wise. Pressing the record button. All right, as you guys can see, Nigel had to bounce out real quick, but Mr. Thomas, you up?
So yeah, stuff I've been picking up mostly I've been finished up Ghost Recon Wildlands Breakpoint.
I saw you playing that. My bad.
Game, right?
Yeah. Finished that up. Me and my homeboy, we've been playing through that from beginning to end together. So we just finished that this past weekend. And I also finished Valkyria Chronicles 4. That one took a lot more time than I thought it was going to take. I figured it was going to be a shorter run, but that was clocked me in at 80 hours or so.
Ooh, damn, 80 hours.
Yeah, it was one of those games I had on the back burner for a good 2-3 years now. So it was just sitting there, and I decided to play it from beginning to end during this quarantine.
2 weeks of work right there.
Yeah, that is it's a good game if you like those visual novel type games. But then when you get to the battles, I'm more a fan of the battles and all that. But most of the story is told through the visual novel, like the character's journal as he's writing it down. Then you see the images and what the different squad units are doing. The gameplay it's pretty good. The gameplay is good. It's nothing revolutionary because it's pretty much the same as if you play Valkyria Chronicles 1. It's nothing that big of a difference. But if your characters get killed in battle, they can die off. So if you have a favorite character, you run him out too deep into the enemy line and he gets killed and they touch him or something like that, then your boy's gone for the rest of the game. So you got to find someone new at that point.
A game like that, I'll be too invested in my character, so I would really have to restart the whole battle because I'm not killing my people, man.
Can
Some
you
of the
imagine playing
battles.
through that game and losing all your favorite characters? Like, would you want
Exactly.
to play anymore?
That shit would piss me off.
Do any of y'all plan on playing it anytime? Like y'all plan on playing it or no?
I have Valkyrie Chronicles, the one on the PS4.
I never played
I
it.
don't have 4.
Well, minor. Well, kind of spoilers. There's a part in the game when you have to pick one of your characters to kill off, send them.
Sacrifice? I'm with it. I gotta buy it.
Yeah. You have to. You have to sacrifice one of your characters for the greater good of your mission.
Wow.
And that was one of the hardest choices because the best character for that part of the mission was one of my favorite characters. He's one of those characters I built up from the beginning of the game to I got towards the chapter before last, and it was one of those ones. And
Thomas, you hard body, man. You don't give a fuck about that shit, man. You hard body.
That's not the thing. He's my best character, though.
I'm losing a weapon.
Yeah, like he was the guy I used to use to run in the middle of run into the enemy line and wipe people out.
Yep.
But the mission called for someone who can do that. So actually called for 2 of them. So I lost both my strong weapons.
Damn.
So how does it end of the game though? Like, how does that affect you?
Don't tell. I want to get to the game.
Okay. I'm just saying that has to
Go
really
ahead.
affect you. That's to really affect you though. Can you imagine like if you was playing Final Fantasy and you had to kill off Cloud or whoever else on your squad, man?
Nah, I'm
Come
okay
on,
with
man.
that. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay with that.
I'm okay with killing Cloud.
Well,
Because Sephiroth's still there, so I'm good.
Oh shit.
yeah, but in strategy games, for me, it's more so like I'm willing to make those sacrifices, but then it's like, see, in my mind, because I had a minor spoiler happen. So the whole game, I was building this character up to replace another character that I figured was going to get killed off. And then I found out I needed 2 characters to kill off. So, this is not what I expected. Then I was like, then I had to go to my backup. And I had a backup character already, just in case he got killed off at some point.
Look at you. You heartless.
Hey, it was war. It was war. Exactly.
Never allowed to be a general in real life, damn it.
Hey, generals they have to make them calls sometimes,
Whatever, man.
But yeah, so after those 2, did I play something else? I feel like I played something else. I just might not be able to remember it. But after I finished those, it was more about now I'm in the middle of trying to figure out what to play next or what to watch. Nothing's really caught my attention. I jumped between well, right now I've been playing Fist of the North Star.
Old school.
Well, it's old school, but it's made in the Yakuza. After Max started talking about the Yakuza games, I was like, you know what? I never started Fist of the North Star. So decided to get on that. I'm like on chapter 4 right now, chapter 5.
Is it following the anime series or is it just a standalone?
It's a standalone, but it does the anime justice. Like standalone does the anime justice. The voice acting reminds me of those old school 1980s anime. The world map's pretty cool. Like when I was playing it, I was like, if Final Fantasy VII Remake, the next one, decides to put a world map in it, I hope they do it like Fist of the North Star did it, because it's kind of similar to Final Fantasy 15, where you get like once you get like a vehicle, then you can leave the city and drive around the wasteland and all that stuff and go from area to area. So I'm like, so far I'm like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I don't know if they're gonna have dungeons or anything like that, but the game, the fighting, it's more Yakuza. You got the side stories and all of that stuff like Yakuza, but then the fighting is gruesome. Like,
motherfuckers' bodies exploded. I'm dead.
Yeah, boy. I'm talking about instead of doing heat actions, you do his Hotoshinken secret art. So you hit someone in the head with the one finger. Yeah. And also you see the head start getting all
bubbling up,
deformed, and then they explode and blood everywhere.
Yeah, I've always deterred away from those. For some reason, older anime gross me out, like Ninja Scroll and shit like that. I think because I was scarred as a child or something. When I see those type of scenes, like I get squeamish. But I can see shit like Dodo Hedoro. Like you about to see some shit, James, in that anime. I'm just letting you know.
But I don't get squeamish. I want it next to the last episode, and like I'm like, yo, I feel like reading this, but there's multiple things I want to read. So
Yeah, it's crazy. But not yet. Fifth of the North Star has been known for its gruesome, like it's adult heavy content.
See, that's this game. They walk. Well, the Yakuza games walk that line too, but this game and being in the Yakuza engine and being done with that staff, I'm like, I want to see them do. From what I've played so far, I would love to see them do even more anime adaptations because, like, most anime company video games are either arena brawler, or that's about it. You don't really have too many like variations of it. Like playing this storyline, even like the way when they introduce characters, the artistic style that they pick, like it. When you see a character get introduced for the first time, you see them standing there. It'll do a kind of a wipe on them, like not even the full screen, just where the character's at, and then it'll do like a black and white outline that looks like the old school manga drawings of them.
Ooh.
And that's the position that they're standing in, and then like like when they do in Yakuza when they introduce
they introduce a character.
Yeah.
They do a quick little pan on them, like a photo pan, and then they have their names, the house they're with, and like the position they're in. That shit is dope.
So like the Official North Star, they do that same thing, but they do it more. But it's more like, boom, this is the manga look of it, and all the characters. Because the Fist of North Star has some weird proportions in that. It's like One Piece. They have weird proportions to their characters sometimes. But they nailed it. Like, they nailed it. And then you can also play as Kiryu if you want to. But it's a good game. It's a good game so far. I might play it through to the end. I think it's like a good 40 hours, and I might figure something else out. I went through like 5 games till I got there. Like not Fantasy Star.
I mean, by that time, you be with Last of Us, right?
I'm not picking up Last of Us.
Oh, you're not?
I'm not picking up Last of Us.
I'm getting that shit.
I gotta get up Cyberpunk, but by the time I get there, I got like 3 games to play. So
that'll be in September though. They released.
Yeah, Cyberpunk's at September. So.
That's what I'm saying. I still got God of War, finished Final Fantasy 7, Need for Speed Heat. I might play Odyssey, but we'll see.
Yeah, I got Odyssey to play still too, and Sekiro.
I got to get back on that one. That one I had to force myself to get back to and reacclimatize to the mechanics. Yeah, I gotta.
And I'm at level 99.
I gotta get back into it. You said what?
I platinumed it, and I'm at level 99.
Yeah. Ain't nothing else from that. But yeah, so it's right now. Yeah, that's why I'm in between games. We'll see which one. Well, Fist of North Star is probably gonna sit up there. I'm gonna probably see what else I feel like playing. I don't think because I picked up like a couple of RPGs, like Ace Combat. Also, I started that a little.
Oh man, Ace Combat from back years ago. I've been on that for like the longest time, man.
Yeah, so I picked the new one. The new one looks pretty good, like story heavy. I wanted to try that with the VR on, but I just gotta get around to it. And I did that. That Iron Man demo. I don't know if I talked about that last time or not.
Oh yeah,
that game.
That was pretty dope.
Yeah, it's going to be. If you have the space for it, and you don't get motion sickness, which I was surprised I didn't get motion sick from it. That game is going to be awesome. Like,
is it VR too?
Yeah, it's in VR. Like, because even like just the fly in that game, you got to fly how Iron Man flies. So if you want to fly straight, you got to put your hands down and your thrusters the way that you need to aim them to move and all that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like it's like.
Huh.
Like
that's not like. Can you be a team or something like that? Can you be on a team in that game, or is it just like you by yourself?
No, you're just Iron Man. You're just Iron Man.
Yeah, so it's not like you're dope anything. Yeah, I'm considering that. Is VR worth picking up yet? Because I've been waiting for a while. Like, are you thinking it'd be something better on PS5? Like 2 years.
I think it's going to continue over to PS5, but VR is
Lawnmower Man. Anybody seen that movie?
Which one?
What?
Anybody seen Lawnmower Man? It's an old school movie.
I heard about that one.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I heard about that one. It gets real. It gets really real with the the guy is like kind of slow.
Yeah.
I don't know the correct term to use, but and then the neighbor puts some kind of helmet on him to make him smarter.
I can't remember the exact theme of it, but something pretty much in the VR world. I guess the neighbor was like a scientist, something like that, trying to help him mobilize him again, or something like that nature. I'll probably find it somewhere and watch it again just to remind myself.
Yeah.
But sorry, random. Didn't mean to take that away from you. Iron Man.
Oh, yeah. But it's a solid game. That was saying, like, it's a solid game. VR itself, the thing I was gonna say is the best way I figured out I wanted it was I tried it. If you don't, it's not one of those things you can really tell someone like, well, yeah, hey, you're gonna like it or not, because there's some games up there, like, Creed has a game up there when you're playing as Adonis and you're actually in the boxing ring fighting half the people. That's a pretty fun one. But then there's like Tetris Effect, which is just playing Tetris but in VR, and it's
that actually sounds kind of dope.
So
should be like Megalobox. Is that Megalobox?
Oh yes, that's a great anime, by the way. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Based off of old school Joe. Was it JoJo something?
It was something Joe.
Yeah.
Because his name was Junkyard Joe.
Yeah. Megalobox is just like it was the anniversary edition of that old school anime.
Yep.
Kind of modernized.
That shit made me get back into Hajime no Ippo, and I got to get back on that too. I got to start watching that all over.
I didn't never watch that one, but I'm definitely about to binge Baki.
I watched it all today.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm ready. As soon as I finish however you pronounce it, I'm there, man.
Don't worry about it. We know what you're talking about.
I think I did pick up a show. It was like based on it was based off Barkins or Barskins or something like Barkins. It's based off of like when they settled, like when the French settled in North America, and it's about their settlements. We always hear about Jamestown and all that.
Yeah.
It's starting off to be a bit disturbing. It's a bit disturbing. Like
they're going all out. Like what channel is it on?
History Channel.
Oh, okay. So they're still censoring a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I think one of the first scenes you see like I think like 7 Apaches impaled on a tree.
Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah, so it's.
Oh shit!
Some stuff's happening. The guy who plays Shaggy and Scooby Doo's in it, but he's not playing a comic character, which that's.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was weird seeing him play a normal person, but not a normal person because he plays a dark dude also. But it's pretty interesting.
So they're not sugarcoating is what you're saying.
Wait, what?
They're not sugarcoating it.
Oh no.
Good.
Like there's like a settlement that got burnt down, and some people blamed it on the Apaches or something like that. So that's why they ended up in the trees. So I'm like, that was like the first episode. So I'm like, I think they're on episode 4 now or something like that. So I need to catch up.
We need to see that kind of exposure, damn it. A lot of these motherfuckers are tone deaf.
It's like, and it's like it shows the good old rivalry between the French and the English. How they did not like each other at first.
They go more in depth about that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, all right then. So you got anything else?
Oh wait, it wasn't history. National Geographic. That's
National Geographic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I gotta check that out.
All right. So you good, Mr. Thomas? You got anything else?
That's about it. Just been jumping through music. Also, if you get a chance, check out the Tetris Effect soundtrack. It's just a nice piece of art. If you get a chance to check out Tetris Effect.
You can listen to that on Spotify?
Yeah, they finally put it on Spotify because in the game, all the music was reactive to how you played the game of Tetris. So now they just let you hear the actual how the songs were laid out.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
All right, I'll look into that one. That sounds interesting. I like some. There's some really good OSTs for some video games.
I think like 68 tracks or something like that.
Yeah. They usually go in depth with them too, so it's pretty good. But all right,
I got one other question.
Go ahead.
So, was there ever a Ronin Kenshin video game?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
No, I'm just asking that question because, like, you know, I loved the anime back in the day, and was that on Toonami? Was that on Toonami?
Yeah, I
That we
think
got
it
into?
was on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on Toonami first before. Yeah, it was on Toonami.
Yeah,
Kenshin was a shit.
Yo, it was. I'm like, if they came out with a video game like that, like based off the technology we have now, and they did something with like open world and everything like that, with back in that era, I think that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, we can't speak on the creator though. We can't.
It came out for the PlayStation Portal back in 2011.
There's one that came out for the PS4.
PSP.
Oh, I ain't had a PSP.
And there was one on PlayStation 2.
Didn't know.
I thought there was one, but I didn't play it then. So something I think I want to get into. But if they come out with a new one.
Yeah, then it was on PlayStation 1 back in 97. It was like go back to Super Nintendo, maybe.
Please.
The game
old
anime is back from 94.
All right, before we go on another tangent, shit. Yeah, I think we're good. We're good. Media that we've been getting into. There's more, definitely more we want to get into, but honestly, we didn't think we're gonna be this long getting into what we enjoyed. There's another episode we would like to make a part 2 episodes for the ones that are curious. We've mentioned a few times we want to really get into the climate, what's happening around us right now. But like I said, it's been we've gone off a little long. You can see Nigel wasn't able to hold out for us, but he has some things to take care of. He sends his regards on that. But no, this is gonna be part 1 of the monthly into May. But the next one, the part 2, hold out. We're gonna try to get that out as soon as possible as well. Hopefully, right? Maybe the same day that we knock this one out. You know what I mean? Try to keep that continuity and consistency going. Thanks, fellas. This was a great distraction. Honestly, I needed this a little bit. I know I'm not very vocal about all these things, but I know I get a little too passionate, so I need to step back and reflect a lot. You know, I only have my wife and child to really express and blow up on with, or not blow up on, but just with. And sometimes it's not enough. You kind of but it's good to hear other people's sides and perspective on what's happening. So, not trying to get too heavy, but sometimes you need to. So, like I said, great distraction, great review on the Freddie Gibbs, great on personal media. But the real point I wanted to get into is gonna be in part 2. So, y'all have any other last notes you want to get into, add-ons, anything?
No,
Good.
had a good time. Had a good time today, man, guys. Yeah, we all talked about the reviews and had good laughs and everything. I think just to say, Max, I think it's a good idea for all of us to get around every once in a while to talk, or even you get the opportunity to talk to one of us, or one of us talk to each other outside of our groups and like that. Makes it better for us and our mental stability as well. I know me being in the house by myself and everything is a little tough at times, but I know myself. I got to use my outlets as well. I don't consider myself a loner at the end of the day, but at the same time, I think it helps out with all of us communicating at least once a week, helping us get our thoughts out and clown like this on here anyway.
But exactly. But yeah, that's part 1 right here, y'all. Please remember, click like and subscribe. That bell that notifies you, please click on that as well, because we're still here. We're not going nowhere anytime soon or ever. I mean, that's how I see it. I'm sure you guys feel the same. So let's I pray everybody doing good, mental space and all. So y'all we all here in this. So part 2, get ready for it. Everybody, this is Max, Mr. Thomas, aka Mr. Random, Mr. James, and King. All right, fellas. On to the next one. Y'all have a good night.
Peace.